Sharp as a tack.
6'2", 230 pounds, an ex-Marine.
How could a beloved chef who brought so much joy,
even if you've given something where he wasn't invited, he's there.
A great chef. Everybody who knew Chef Doug was cooking, it was gonna be some good food.
Hey, I'm dripping sauce. Hey, we got one question for you without calling me. I'm dripping sauce. Hey, she was dripping sauce, baby.
end up leaving his own family in such grief and pain?
My brother was a big guy, and you're not just gonna take him down.
Can't imagine why anyone would do this horrendous thing to my cousin.
They threw him away like he was trash.
It started early one June morning when DJ Calhoun, known lovingly as Chef Doug, didn't show up for a catering gig. His sister instantly knew something was wrong.
His best friend calls me and says, "You talk to your brother. He's supposed to be catering for a comedy show, and the guys who are the promoters are looking for him." I said, "Oh, well, let me call you right back."
DJ didn't answer his phone, so Dana tried texting him.
My last text to him says, "Boy, you better call me as soon as you get this message."
But for the first time ever, radio silence. In fact, no one had heard from Dana's brother since around 3:30 that morning when he made a call to his best friend, capping off a Thursday night out on the town with buddies.
They're having a good time. They're popping bottles and, eating and drinking, and DJ, as normal, is the life of the party.
Now it was Friday night and DJ was still MIA. His sister went straight to the Detroit police.
It was my understanding that you had to wait 24 hours before you can make a police report.
That's not true.
Maybe because I was so adamant about it.
That's not true. You don't have to wait 24 hours. That is not true. That's an old wives' tale. You do not have to wait 24 hours. That's an old wives' tale. That is not true.
Take the police report.
The following day, Chef Doug was expected to fly to St. Louis to cater a wedding.
He's not at the airport. He didn't get on the plane.
That's when his cousin, Camilla Henderson, says the family really started to panic.
He doesn't miss anything because that's what he built his reputation on.
Then, a disturbing find. His family used OnStar to locate his SUV and discovered that it had been abandoned in the neighborhood of Brightmoor, nowhere near his home.
In a vacant lot in this terrible neighborhood. Car doors open, hatch was open.
We didn't know who was involved in the disappearance. It could have been one person, 2, 3, 4, 5. We just didn't know.
Complete strangers joined DJ's family and friends to search for the popular chef.
I couldn't keep sitting on my hands. Maybe he's somewhere under a brush, trees or something.
But even with all those people searching, nothing. Then, Dana's daughter made a startling discovery after finding her uncle's online passwords and accessing his bank account.
She told me that this debit card was being used.
Detective James McDonald is a homicide detective with the Detroit Police Department.
We go out to these businesses and we started, looking at the surveillance footage, and you see his card being used, and it's not Douglas Calhoun.
His family didn't know it yet, but Detective McDonald had already uncovered another big clue in the case using the chef's cell phone records.
We identified his last contact number, and we recognized that at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, he's talking to this person, and then all of a sudden, the communication stops.
Turns out the phone call DJ made to his best friend was not his last call of the night.
That is what turned this into not a missing person, but more of a victim of a crime.
6-year-old niece that's texting him and wondering why Uncle DJ is not responding to her text messages. He needs to come home.
Wow.
We're back with the disappearance of DJ Calhoun, aka Chef Doug. Detectives are trying to figure out what happened to him, and they are about to find out. After going through cell phone records for Chef Doug's late night calls, cops dial in on the very last one. But it's puzzling. The call was made from the Detroit neighborhood of Brightmoor to an untraceable number. They learn it's associated with a merchant's website selling services.
This was a number that was affiliated with Backpage.
Sources say Calhoun, before going missing in June, answered an ad on Backpage.
You can be anybody on Backpage. You can do anything on there and be misleading on it.
Working backwards, Detroit PD Detective James McDonald pores over every call received and made by that last number Chef Doug called.
I come upon a number that belongs to a pizza place called Crazy Joe's Pizza. And lo and behold, it's in the Brightmoor area.
McDonald heads to Crazy Joe's and asks whether they recognize the number. Incredibly, they do, telling him where they delivered the pizza ordered by that number.
I mean, this is the needle in the haystack. Now I had a direction to go in my investigation.
At the house, a 17-year-old girl answers the door. At first, she doesn't cooperate, but eventually she tells detectives she's been living in the house since March with her 27-year-old boyfriend, a habitual offender named Trayvon Baskerville.
Now I have enough.
Trayvon. Another damn Trayvon. Think about this nigga. This nigga probably protested for Trayvon Martin. All of them probably was been out of shape about what happened to Trayvon, only to get killed by Trayvon. Come on, guys, support the channel, guys. Sponsor the show, man. This gonna be a short show tonight, man. If you want to come up, man, link is in the description box.
Offender named Trayvon Baskerville.
Now I have enough probable cause to go back to the house with a search warrant.
What they find when they return with a warrant leaves them stunned.
We find suspected blood on a mattress, a lot of blood. That suggests somebody was bleeding pretty heavily. I basically said, hey, listen, we need to talk again. And she voluntarily goes back with me.
After about 7 hours, the young woman admits Chef Doug was at the house on the morning of June 1st, and he didn't make it out alive.
She tells us, you might want to check into my boyfriend, Trayvon Baskerville.
Trayvon Baskerville is immediately arrested on outstanding felony warrants, but is now the prime suspect in the murder of Douglas Calhoun. When DNA tests confirm that blood found in the house belonged to Chef Doug, Trayvon's girlfriend agrees to confess everything she knows in exchange for immunity. Then she lays it out, telling cops exactly where the body is.
She identified the garage and said, hey, he's going to be in the trash can in the back of the garage. Right where she said it was at, it was there.
Detective McDonald says he's never seen something so callous. Chef Doug had been in that garbage can for 37 days.
It was just mind-boggling.
Shit.
Detective McDonald says he's never seen something so callous. Chef Doug had been in that garbage can for 37 days.
It was just mind-boggling how someone, a human, could take another human, put him in a trash can, roll him to a vacant garage, and just leave him there.
We were right there in Brightmoor community. We must have walked past him at least 5 or 6 times.
Wow. Shout out to Louis Barrow. He said he from Brightmoor. Yikes.
They threw him away like it was trash.
But why did Baskerville allegedly shoot and kill Chef Doug? The answer left his family gutted.
He wanted to do it without a condom.
He being Doug?
Yes.
Oh, shit. Doug was gay. And Doug went on fucking... Oh, Doug wanted to beat it up without a condom. And dude was like, oh, hells no. Oh, shit. Dougie Doug, Dougie Doug was living a double life, man. Damn, Doug. Oh, man, Doug.
In Brightmoor community, we must have walked past him at least 5 or 6 times.
They threw him away like it was trash.
But why did Baskerville allegedly shoot?
Yeah, this nigga do look sweet. He do look sweet, man. Now that I look at him, old sweet ass. You was gonna give him you was gonna give up the yams, but he had to use a condom. Is you still gay if you make the person use a condom? Chat, are you gay if you make the dude use a condom? Is that still gay?
At least 5 or 6 times.
They threw him away like it was trash.
But why did Baskerville allegedly shooting?
Oh, you said he wanted to hit the 17-year-old girl? Oh, man. I hope so. I hope that's it, man. I hope you wasn't a fruit cup, Doug. Oh, he was pimping. That's pimping right here. Okay. But a pimp ain't too far from being a homosexual because a pimp do anything for some money. So if the dude be like, yeah, I want both of y'all, the pimp is like, cool. How much you got? Press 1.
Kill Chef Doug. The answer left his family gutted.
He wanted to do it without a condom.
He being Doug?
Yes.
Trayvon's girlfriend claims the chef had come over to the house agreeing to pay her $50 for oral sex, but then wanted more.
And what did you do at that point?
I told him no.
She's
Holy shit. Yo, that's gotta be, that sucks, man. That's a sucky way to go out, man. I feel bad for this brother, man. Thank God Doug not a freak. Doug he just man, Doug, I can't make this is bad. You was a pillar in the community too. If Doug was just an ain't shit dude, it wouldn't even be that bad. But Doug was allegedly a pillar in the community, man. He was allegedly a pillar in the community. He probably had done this move 100 times. Off the late night, hit up what's the name of that site? Craigslist. Hit up Craigslist or Backpage off the late night. See, Doug, if you had some game, you could have got one of them hoes at the club, man. Doug ain't got no game. Doug ain't had no game, man. Salute the bug off, man. Doug ain't had no game. He couldn't get one of them grown women at the club, man. So he had to go try to get him some little. He tried to get some ass off the back page, off the late night. Doug was at the club that night, man. That's crazy. Doug was at the club that night.
heard from Dana's brother since around 3:30 that morning when he made a call to his best friend, capping off a Thursday night out on the town with buddies.
They're having a good time. They're popping bottles and, eating and drinking and DJ as normal as the.
So you popping bottles in the club and shit. And that sucks, man. You in the club popping bottles and had to call a little a stanky booty freak 4:00 in the morning to get your nut off, man. Such is life, man. That's life, though, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. That's life. Life be like that sometimes. Yikes. C'est la vie, man.
Agreeing to pay her $50 for oral sex, but then wanted more.
And what did you do at that point?
I told him no.
She says he asked for his money back, and that's when Trayvon came out with a gun.
Them two started.
He asked for his money back because he couldn't get the noggin from a rando. He couldn't get the noggin from a rando without the condom. She protecting herself, man. Salute to this young lady, man. She's a smart hoe, man. She protecting herself. She like, I don't know, man. Man. We in this for the long haul, man. We in this hoeing for the long haul. Hoeing is the best thing going. I'm trying to keep hoeing, man. I don't know you like that, man. You gotta use a condom, man. Doug was like, nah, man, I need that neck. I need that Inspector Gadget neck, man. Oh, I need that sloppy slop. She was like, nah, man. I got a boyfriend. He in the other room, man. This just some late night shit, man. You ain't what you trying to make love, man. What you trying to make love, man? Doug was trying to make love to her mouth, man. Doug was trying to make love to her mouth. She like, nah, nigga, this is a quick nut, man. So you go in the house and go to sleep, man. Now wake up with blue balls, man. Doug was like, nah, I want to make love to your mouth, man.
Going back and forth.
What does back and forth mean?
If they was arguing back and forth about the money.
When Chef Doug asked Trayvon to step outside, she says her boyfriend shot him in the back.
You asked this dude to step outside. What's wrong with Chef Doug, man? Chef Doug, man, you can't be fucking real. I see why they threw him in the trash can. He didn't like he wasn't the Marine that was the caterer. He was just some nigga that showed up trying to get some neck off the late night for $50 and then wanted to squabble over the $50 and squabble over the condom and shit, and then wanted to go outside and fight. Honestly, I hate to say it, but I can see how they just throw that nigga in the trash. They ain't know he was all that. They ain't know he was a Marine and a fucking famous caterer and chef and beloved community member. They ain't know that. They just like some nigga trying to get some neck, and now he trying to squabble over it and shit, man. He arguing over $50. Press 1. I don't think she lying. I had some situations like that, man, where I had some, some lovely ladies of the night living in my spot, and they was, doing their thing and whatnot on Backpage and Craigslist. This was in 2000s. This was in the 2000s, the late 2000s. I had some situations like that. Yeah, niggas. All the girls to a man said all the girls to a girl said they didn't like messing with niggas. They hated Black Johns. All of them disliked Black Johns. They only wanted to do white boys, but they did black dudes, but they preferred to only do white and Hispanic and Asian. They despise Black Johns. This is not like this is a very believable story, man. Only thing is that this guy was a pillar in his community. So for him to be in that little shack 4:00 in the morning trying to get some neck from that little girl is the only reason why it could probably seem implausible. But if you take him out of it, man, this shit going on right now in every city. Nah, I wasn't the John. I was their boss. I wasn't the John. I was their boss, man. I wasn't the John. I was their boss. I was the pimp. I wasn't their John. But I have done a lot of stuff, man, though, like that, like as far as like little freaks and stuff like that. All of us, everybody in the hood or whatever in the community has, had a freak off the late night 1,000 times. Don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is, yeah, broker, man. I was a broker. There you go.
Afterwards, they both hid the body.
Where does Trey put the body?
Into the dumpster.
Okay.
Let me roll it back.
Oral sex, but then wanted more.
And what did you do at that point?
I told him no.
She says he asked for his money back, and that's when Trayvon came out with a gun.
Them two started going back and forth.
What does back and forth mean?
If they was arguing back and forth about the money.
When Chef Doug asked Trayvon to step outside, she says her boyfriend shot him in the back.
Step outside so we can fight in the middle of the street at 4 o'clock in the morning in the middle of the hood over $50.
$50 for oral sex, but then wanted more.
And what did you do at that point?
I told him no.
She says he asked for his money back, and that's when Trayvon came out with a gun.
Them two started going back and forth.
What does back and forth mean?
Like they was arguing back and forth about the money.
When Chef Doug asked Trayvon to step outside, she says her boyfriend shot him in the back. Afterwards, they both hid the body.
Where does Trey put the body?
Into the dumpster.
Okay. Do you help him do that?
Yes,
Why?
because I was scared.
On the day of his arraignment, Baskerville didn't seem rattled by the charge of first-degree murder, but when the judge mentioned human trafficking,
His head popped up, and his eyes got real wide. Human trafficking? Where do you get that charge from?
from his 17-year-old
Killing a man and meant nothing to him. Killing a man meant nothing to him, but fucking pimping and pandering and shit, that was oh shit. Psychopath, man. Salute to Terry, man. Terry, man. Salute to Terry. Salute to Barry B, man. Salute to you, man. Salute to you guys, man. Take the $5 challenge, man. Support the channel. Sponsor the show. Tracy Jones says Doug was zesty as fuck. Nah, I misread it, man. Doug wasn't zesty. Doug was just the low life. He was living a double life. He was this community man, this man of the community, caterer during the day, and off the late night he was cruising Backpage and shit to try to hook up, try to get sloppy top, man. He had probably done that 100 times, man. Look how comfortable he was in that setting, man. He was very comfortable, man. He'd done that 100 times, I bet, man. I bet he had.
Was arguing back and forth about the money.
When Chef Doug asked Trayvon to step outside, she says her boyfriend shot him in the back. Afterwards, they both hid the body.
Where does Trey put the body?
Into the dumpster.
Okay. Do you help him do that?
Yes,
Why?
because I was scared.
On the day of his arraignment, Baskerville didn't seem rattled by the charge of first-degree murder, but when the judge mentioned human trafficking,
His head popped up, and his eyes got real wide. Human trafficking? Where do you get that charge from?
from his 17-year-old girlfriend, who told investigators Trayvon forced her into prostitution at age 16, and that he confiscated all the money she had earned. 1 year after Chef Doug's tragic death, Trayvon Baskerville was convicted of second-degree murder and human trafficking. Part of what did him in were more phone calls, conversations with his then-girlfriend, asking, "Did you tell on me?" and telling her, "If you keep talking, you're going to make yourself an accessory." Those calls were recorded from prison, a fact not lost on the judge during his sentencing.
And there really wasn't much evidence that directly linked you to the crime until you opened your own mouth on the jail call. When you asked, "Did you tell on me?" that was the clearest admission of your own guilt and your own responsibility. And that's really what convicted you in this case.
Speaking at sentencing,
you could
Dana
tell
Phillips said
she didn't want to convict him. You could tell it's hurting that sister to convict him, but she had to. Press 1. Mammy.
Those calls were recorded from prison, a fact not lost on the judge during his sentencing.
And there really wasn't much evidence that directly linked you to the crime until you opened your own mouth on the jail call. When you asked, "Did you tell on me?" that was the clearest admission of your own guilt and your own responsibility. And that's really what convicted you in this case.
Speaking at sentencing, Dana Phillips said no matter what the reason her little brother showed up at that house that night, He did not deserve to be murdered.
I don't want to hear that no matter what the reason. We know why he showed up, though. No matter what the reason. No. We know why he showed up there. We know the reason.
And Dana Phillips said no matter what the reason her little brother showed up at that house that night, he did not deserve to be murdered.
DJ was unarmed. He would never physically harm a woman.
Yeah, but he was going allegedly, and I believe the girl's testimony, man. She has no reason to lie. She's got immunity. She said he wanted to go outside and squabble over the $50. Man, if I'm running a fucking Backpage hoe house and shit, I ain't trying to be in the street fighting with you 4 o'clock in the morning. That's making my spot hot.
Woman and didn't pose a life threat to this coward Baskerville. Yet he thought it was necessary to murder my brother rather than simply asking him to leave the house.
He did ask him to leave. Your brother wanted to fight. Your brother the one told him to come outside. Were you at the trial, baby? Where was you at, man?
It takes a cold-blooded, heartless person to murder someone over $50.